Welcome back to Chi-Town Lowdown. We got another episode here. This is going to be a recap of the Week 9 game against the Arizona Cardinals. Yeah, it was a tough one, right? Coming off an emotional loss to the Commanders in Week 8, where we felt like we had a lot of momentum coming off a 3-game win streak, off of a bye week, had plenty of time to prepare. And we're let down on the last play of the game there, and then hoping for a bounce back game against the Arizona Cardinals, who had admittedly been playing better football. Were able to string a couple wins together coming into the game against the Bears, and they had home field advantage as well. My first opinion of the game was just that all around on every phase of the ball, offensively, defensively, special teams. Just there was no flow, there was no rhythm. It was a tough game to watch, frankly, and not what you hope to see as a Chicago Bears fan. With all of the hopes that we had coming into this season, we're kind of seeing the castle crumble in front of our eyes. That it's been tough to see. So, Tom, you wanna take it from there and dive into some of your thoughts from the game? I know you had some notes that you took.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad to see this happen. We're a 4-4 team. I'm trying to be optimistic about it. Like, anything can happen in the NFL. That's what I was saying to you guys in the group chat. Anything can happen in the NFL. But like right now, as this team is playing and just the overall vibes, we're all three all three defense, offense, special teams, awful. We're so bad. They ran the ball down our throats this week, and that was alarming. Like, it looked like the team just took the week off. And that's concerning. Eberflus still doesn't seem like he knows what the hell he's doing out there, and that's concerning. And now, like, there's reports this week. We podcast a little bit later then all the reports kind of start coming out after the week. Like, these receivers, like the whole thing with DJ Moore walking off the field during a play. Everybody questioning Shane Waldron if he's going to keep the play calling duties. All these distractions is concerning. And as a fan, where we were just 2-3 weeks ago before the bye, coming off 3 wins in a row, and now we're here. It's just, I know having a rookie quarterback, you're going to have ups and downs. I just didn't think it was going to be this down. And yeah, I mean, we can talk more about the game, but Luke, what do you think?
I've shifted my overall outtake on what I expect moving forward. I was optimistic going into this Cardinals game, thinking with an opportunity to get a win there, and then also playing New England this week, go into the portion of our schedule that's obviously very division heavy, right? And have an opportunity to control our own destiny. Now, before I completely go off the deep end here, because I'm about to, they still have that opportunity, right? They're 4-4. We could be 2-6 right now.
A lot of teams are 2-6, by the way. A lot.
We could also be 6-2, but instead we're 4-4. So, with that being said, your destiny is in your own hands here. Go win these division games. Split a series with Detroit. Split a series with whether it be Minnesota or Green Bay.
I think
and then whatever the third game or the third team is, you got to win them outright. Like, that's how it's going to have to shake out. You are going to have to split them, or at the very least, or you're going to have to win both, or at the very least split them. If you go into these division games and you lose out of the 3 teams in the division, you lose both games to 2 of the 3 teams, we're screwed. Season's over. So they control their own destiny. Obviously, the New England game is a necessity. Got to win that, and that's just a given, obviously. But like I said when I started, my optimism is gone.
No.
They're going to need to earn that back. And it's. I've tried to. We're 8 games in now, and it's the same old shit. It's an incompetent team, and it's an incompetent coaching staff and front office.
I was thinking though, how much did injuries have an effect on this game?
Yeah, so you guys might have noticed as you guys were both speaking there, I was writing down some notes here just so I can really keep my train of thought. And that is one of the things that I've written down, Tom, is O-line injuries are literally just out of control, right? Like, we're missing both tackles. Amagaji, the rookie they drafted out of Yale, he's hurt. We're down to practice squad guys protecting Caleb on the outside. And yeah, I mean, that's on the offensive line. Obviously, I think it was Jesse before the podcast started. Maybe it was you, Tom, talking about Billings' injury on the D line. That's just it's going to be a huge loss. He played for most of that Arizona game, but my God, we were getting our asses handed to us in the run game on defense. Every time James Conner touched the ball, it seemed like it was 10 yards. And, without Billings in the middle there, that's going to be an issue. The injuries, yeah. The other notes that I have wrote down, can't stop run.
Right.
Couldn't do it. I mean, it didn't matter who was running the ball.
Can I hop in there on kind of why that may have been? So yeah, I listened to the PFF the team grade player grade podcast that comes out every week. One thing that they mentioned in this matchup between the Bears and the Cardinals, and the reason that the Cardinals had so much success on the ground was because they run a lot of 12 personnel, right, where they have 1 running back, 2 tight ends. And a lot of times what defenses will do in that scenario is they will bring in an extra defensive lineman, but the Bears did not do that. They have run their base defense more than any other team in the league, I want to say, and that's a 4-3 with 4 down linemen, 3 linebackers. So if a team runs a lot of 12 personnel, they have a lot of 2 tight end sets, and they want to establish the run game, you have to adjust your defensive game plan to combat that. And that was not an adjustment that was made in the game to do that. And so again, it comes back to the incompetency of the coaching, the unwillingness to make adjustments, and to believe that the belief that, the game plan is what the game plan is going in, and we're going to stick to it. It's like that. And that's the NFL is not a league where that works. You have to, these other teams that you're playing against are game planning against what they're seeing on tape. And if they see that you're not going out of your base defensive package to adjust to a team that's trying to, fill the box and put a hat on a hat and open running lanes, then you're not going to have much success. And I feel like
our defense seems a little bit vanilla right now compared to other defenses in the league.
Absolutely. I mean, we don't blitz a lot. We don't try to disguise a lot.
Yeah.
And that's something that's not it shouldn't come as a mystery, because that's what Eberflus has done. That's what he did when he was in Indy as the defensive coordinator there. His defenses are predicated on having 4 guys that can do it all up front. And they have to be able to stop the run, and they have to be able to rush the passer, because, like Jesse had said, there's not a lot to, and like you're saying, Tom, there's not a lot to the defense. It's vanilla. Like, it is what you see. And it's kind of just telling the offense, like, hey, you're going to have to beat us. And Arizona in this game said, we're not going to beat you. We're going to destroy you, and you aren't going to do anything to stop us, and we did not.
Yeah.
It got worse as the game went on too. It was just like this, because I was rewatching the clips prior to the podcast just to refresh my memory and inflict a little bit of self-harm upon myself. And that was 9-14 coming out of the half, and just that entire second half was just garbage.
I have a couple notes as well.
Yeah.
A couple points in the game as they were happening. I said, can't get into the end zone, 9 points at half. I feel like we were moving the ball in the early stage of the game. We had that deep completion to Roma Dunze to get us, I think in the red zone. We were making some passes. We were running the ball a little bit. Just 9 points. We need a touchdown there. Just an observation. Also, letting Arizona score with 25 seconds left on to play. Same thing as last week. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, that was huge. Right before half. Yeah. Actually, the score at halftime was 21-9.
Yes.
You may have forgotten that because they broke a 60-yard run with their backup running back. I think it was like a outside zone run or like a sweep play from shotgun. Like the Cardinals they were trying to run the clock out.
Yeah. Negative.
We wouldn't let them.
Touchdown. And then after that, it was over. I mean, we were shut out in the second half. The defense only gave up 8 points in the second half, but to be down 21-9 at halftime versus 14-9, is a huge difference.
The last thing I had here was I don't remember what this. I don't know if this was in the first half or the second half. Roughing the snapper penalty to give them a touchdown, not 3 points. That's that was a questionable call, I think, but it was. I don't know if it was questionable because they're saying that he had his hand on the guy pushing off or whatever, and that's
leverage. That's
leverage. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Just can't do it, and we just seem to do this to ourselves. And 7 points instead of 3, and then the touchdown at the end of the half. That's another 7 points. Should have been nothing. That's a big swing.
Yeah.
So
you're.
I think we can touch on the segment on NFL Live where Orlovsky broke down 3 different passing plays for the Bears. What he was basically trying to point out was that the play calling, the design of the plays that the Bears are running aren't really making much sense, especially for a young quarterback who you're trying to establish some confidence early on in a game where he's getting the ball out quickly. He is, able to get some of those completions early on so that he gets into some rhythm with his wide receivers. Basically what he was pointing out is that the Chicago Bears don't have any of that right now. The timing's off, the rhythm's off, the route concepts aren't making any sense. And with a rookie quarterback that's got a whole lot of talent and the weapons that he's able to throw the ball to, it's just unacceptable what Shane Waldron is trying to do with this offense, which is I don't know what it is. It's crazy.
I have written down on my notes here, Waldron dumbass. So I'm going to riff on that a little bit. Because I think we all watched that segment, and Dan Orlovsky gets paid to put this in like layman's terms, right? You know what I mean? On these shows, it's like this has to be digestible by the masses. Like not everyone, including myself, has the ability to truly understand what's happening schematically on a football field. It's a lot more complex than what people might make it out to be. But I thought Orlovsky did a good job in this case of simplifying it down to a point where you're looking at a freeze frame for a particular play, and you're noticing this a lot with, at least I did when watching the highlights, these bunch sets, right, where everybody's lined up You've got Moore, Keenan Allen, Rome, all right there on the line. Now, a bunch set is fine, right? Like you're stacking receivers, creating separation off the line, creating some friction with the defenders that are trying to guard these guys, and creating some natural picks. Well, that's all good and great, but the most glaring thing that Orlovsky had pointed out on that segment was they can't all end up in the same place, right? Like we've got an entire football field, and we've got all of our eligible receivers within a 6x6 box. And they've got, I think, 3 receivers. They've got 4 defenders standing right around them. If you're Caleb, you're looking at that and going, okay, there's no options there. So I need to, and then he gets excited in the pocket. He starts moving around, which he has a great natural feel. You can tell for kind of like moving around a little bit in the pocket without getting too out of control. But then this coupled with what's going on with the line, it's a razor thin margin. Like these plays have got to be there, and they got to be there quick, because we are not going to hold up. Like we couldn't do it against a relatively unknown pass rush from Arizona. We're going to struggle with most every team in the league and the pass rush that they put up against us, if that's what it looks like against Arizona. So I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know what the solution is offensively, because if you fire Waldron, I don't know who's calling plays for this team. I don't know. Like, I don't know who that responsibility goes to. Obviously, Eberflus is a defensive head coach, so he's not going to take that over. I don't know if it's the quarterback coach, Joseph, I think, but we're in a spot where, we saw the Saints fire their coach this week, Dennis Allen. We're at the spot in the year where you're going to start seeing that more regularly. Like, we're kind of in that territory. I just don't know how we do it as this team, which is a testament to the poor job I think that Ryan Poles did in the offseason in assessing whether or not Eberflus was a good coach moving forward for this team and for Caleb. Because now it's inevitable. There is going to be a new head coach. There's going to be a new offensive coordinator next year. Like, so
third time.
Yeah. I mean, it's so it feels the feeling that we're all having right now is a very familiar feeling, isn't it? We experienced this all of last season. It's the ups and the downs, right? We were euphoric after that 3-game win streak. Our hopes were high. Granted, last season the Bears had a slower start and finished much more strongly, which of course influenced Poles' decision to stick with Eberflus. But we're back to that point where we're seeing so much inconsistency. We're seeing that this offense does have the potential to score points, like we saw in Jacksonville, like we saw, not to that extent, but they put together a good game against the Rams. The Carolina Panthers, they I think ran the score up in that one a little bit as well. And then we have these 2 games where it just looks like everything is falling apart. And to the point of Shane Waldron's play calling and play design and route concepts and all these wide receivers ending up at the same spots, it is not a good game plan, obviously. But another thing is that Caleb has regressed a little bit from that 3-game win streak. He is not taking safe check down options that are there. And, granted, sometimes there's alignment in his lap. He may not be able to step into those throws and make them as accurately as maybe he should, but he's got to be able to do that. And I'm not seeing it right now, but think about the all-time great quarterbacks. I mean, Tom Brady was never afraid to throw a check down. In fact, on all the great teams that he was on, a lot of the production of that time was by making those checkdowns and letting those guys run in open space. So Caleb's got some learning to do. And hopefully they're pointing that out in the film room and saying, you just gotta be getting the ball out a little bit quicker. On that play where DJ Moore stepped out of bounds and walked over to the sideline, in the press conference today, he said he tweaked his ankle. Okay, that's fine. He was coming back to the ball on when Caleb's scrambling, and there was a small window where he could have tried to hit DJ Moore on the sideline. And that's a throw that these more veteran quarterbacks would be willing to make. So Caleb, he just needs to be more decisive. He needs to get that ball out of his hand.
Yeah, I feel like he's waiting a little bit too long for these things to open up, and then they close. And they're there, and he's waiting for them to get a little bigger. And then can we talk about DJ Moore a little bit? Because I think he's being a little bitch.
This is going to be one of my closing points. Go, Tom.
All these things are happening, and I'm like, I think it's him. He is creating turmoil in the locker room a little bit, and he's on these podcasts, and he's just. I don't know. I don't really know what's going on, but it seems like there's something going on with him and either Caleb or Justin Fields and him were close. He didn't want Justin Fields to leave. Is there something like that? He's mad at the coaching staff, at the higher up. It just feels like something's going on, and that sucks because and he hasn't been productive at all this year. It seems where is he?
Well, that is a result of what we're talking about with Caleb and what we're talking about with Shane Waldron and the play designs and things like that. But yeah, I mean, if you're going on to a radio interview and you're being asked the question if your head coach has lost the locker room and your response is, I want to say no, that's a pretty, profound statement on where his head is at. And what he actually
body language? I don't know. Right?
Yeah. It's body language. Body language.
Luke, you take it away.
I have written down here is body language is the worst in the league. I don't. And granted, I'm watching the Bears. I've got my quad box set up for other time slots, right? And I'm watching 4 different games at once. When the Bears are on, the Bears are on. That's what's on the TV.
Setup.
So admittedly, I'm somewhat biased here in the fact that I'm watching these games a little closer than I am some of the other games that I watch throughout the week. It's not just DJ, the team as a whole, if you pay attention to like you said, Tom, body language, you don't have to be fucking Sigmund Freud to understand when somebody's not feeling it, right? What? These guys are in a negative space right now. Look at Caleb on the sideline. He looks like a guy who's been getting the dog shit kicked out of him in the league for 10 years. He's halfway through year 1.
You know what I thought about during the game last week was it was a close up of Caleb's face like they do. And I was like, you know what? I haven't seen him smile for a while. He's not having fun out there. And that I don't think anybody's having fun out there. And that's the issue. Some of these good teams, they're joking, they're laughing, they're winning, and it's because they're having a good time playing football like it should be played, and it just seems like the Bears just aren't right now, and it's super frustrating.
They're not having a good time.
Quit is hurts.
Last thing I have is farewell to Khalil Herbert.
Yep.
It just feels weird. This team, and this ties in with this, I expected them to be buyers at the deadline. Bring in some help to shore up the offensive line, maybe try and go get a pass rusher and get ready for the second half of the season with all these backloaded division games. Now, what do? We trade our third string running back who got absolutely no love or opportunity this year. We didn't even see what he could have done. I think he had 20 some snaps with the Bears up to this point in the year. it's insane to me. He was like top 5 in the league last year in yards per carry. Now, obviously, that's a smaller sample size in comparison to some of the other lead backs in the league. This was a guy who proved himself last year, in my book, and I thought did a good job with the opportunities that he was given. And they fucking go and spend big money on a running back in the offseason, like DeAndre Swift, which we've talked about repeatedly. It does not make sense in today's league. You do not pay running backs like that. And they send Herbert off to fucking Cincinnati, where he's going to fucking sabotage my fantasy year, takes touches away from Chase Brown, and screw me. And it's going to be extra painful because it's going to be Khalil. And you know what? It's just like the icing on the fucking cake right now with these assholes. And, YouTube, sorry for the language, but this is ridiculous. Like I said, I'm done. Little foreshadowing. I'm not taking the Bears to cover this week. I have no idea why they're getting 6 points against fucking New England.
I have hope, guys. Like I said, we're 4-4. We're 4-4. We have a tough schedule. Anything can happen in the NFL. I believe in that, and I just need a little bit more. Just kick me while I'm down, kind of type of stuff. Then I'll be out. But right now, I'm on the ground. They haven't kicked me yet. And, New England, dude, Drake May is looking – I mean, all these this is also frustrating. Sorry, I'm getting a little loud. But Drake May, Jaden Daniels. The hell, Penix Jr. is going to be better than Caleb Williams at this point. That's scary. I don't like that.
You could make the argument Bo Nix is playing at a similar level.
It's just like we – are a quarterback killer right now, and it's just like this is the third time.
Not right now. We have always been. Always.
And everybody has been saying it on social media. Everything, like all the analysts, they're just like,
Are you surprised?
Yes, I wanted it to be different. Like you have to believe as a fan that it's going to be different. And if I don't know if it's this organization, I don't know if it's who we hire as coaches. I don't know if it's that. It's something systemic, and it's just I don't know if I can be a Bears fan if this keeps happening. I'll have to jump ship.
We're gonna turn that rant into a short, and we're gonna make that a video of its own.
If the St. Louis Rams were still around, I'd move to them.
We are gonna get more into this Bears matchup with New England and our picks against the spread segment. So tune into that. But we'll close this one out for our Bears cards recap. Like and subscribe to the page and leave some comments for us about your thoughts on what's going on with the Bears, Caleb Williams, not being buyers at the deadline,
receivers,
anything like that. We love to hear your thoughts. So check out Picks Against the Spread. And for now, bear down.